welcome to the Art of Faith. I'm Pastor Joshua Kapczynski. This is my co-host, Joel Fairley.
Good afternoon
Good
to
af-
you all.
And he just did a funeral, so came straight from work. Today is our Christmas special, so we're going to be talking about faith in the movies. We picked a couple of
Christmas movies.
Christmas movies to talk about today, and I think that we'll probably pick some of the same ones as usual.
We'll find out.
But it's just the two of us today, and being the Christmas special, well, Art of Faith is sponsored by me and Joel. So we're gonna, if you could help us to keep the show on the air and keep it going. We see this podcast as a tent making ministry. So obviously it's a way to get our ultimate goal is to get the gospel out and to breathe some creativity into faith, that there's an art to faith, and so we want to encourage people, help people in their walk with the Lord, but we also want to be able to make this platform a vehicle to tent make for us in our ministries.
Yes, and for those guests that come on
and for
our artists.
Yes, and for our artist guests and friends that come on. So since it is Christmas season, well, you might not be able to get Christmas presents from Amazon this year, but you can get a Christmas present from the incredible artist Joel Fairley. So you sell your artwork.
Well, yes, and you can find me right now. Do I do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, good. You can find me on Art by T. Joel on Instagram, and most of the posts and most of the pictures there are of my art. And if you have any interest in any of the art, and especially ones that do not have sold under the captions, they are available, and you can DM me on Instagram, and we can talk. And it just in time for Christmas, they're available, just in case.
And what better gift than the gift of art and personal art. And well, are your pieces that Rothko? Did you see the Rothko sold this week?
No.
There was a Rothko sold for $60 million. Are your work $60 million?
Well, I hope that when I'm dead.
Hopefully when he's dead.
But they're not now.
Okay, but it's affordable, right?
Oh, absolutely affordable.
So you can
absolutely affordable.
You can buy yourself an original piece of artwork that is unique. One of a kind.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I want my art to be a blessing to people. If you find pieces that bless you, I will do what I can to make sure that it gets in your hands if you want it.
Very cool. All right, and then on my side of things, me being the ex-antique dealer, everything in the set that we curated here is for sale, with the exception of my grandfather's revival poster. That's not for sale. So everything's got a price in the set, and you can buy anything that you see. So I just want to feature one very cool object, and that is this little model here on my Capitol. This is a 1954 original promotional Sputnik from the Soviet Union, and very rare. And so you can literally have a piece of history. I guarantee you that Grandpa does not want a sweater this year. He would rather have a Sputnik from 1954. He would rather have an actual piece of world history. So I want to highlight that one. Again, everything is for sale in the set, but we'll feature this one, and she's going for $80. So $80, one of a kind. Can't get it anywhere else. Historical promotional piece from 1954. Grandpa wants that. He doesn't want a sweater. All right. All right, let's go. Okay, before we start our Christmas special, and we're going to do a couple of Christmas specials.
Yes, we are.
First thing I want to highlight is Joel's growing out his beard. Because why are you growing out your beard, Joel?
Because this 'tis the season for me to play Father Christmas.
Nice.
And I love Father Christmas, and I love Christmas, and I love Santa Claus, and you will see that as we continue today. And I am available I am available to do appearances as Father Christmas in costume, in character, and I love it, and I love to bless it. I do this I do this one way for my grandchildren. Sometime during the season, they are going to FaceTime me, and
Aww.
we are going to have a conversation together. I don't know if they're still. I don't know if they're gonna narc me out and think it's Papa. So far, no. So far, we've done pretty good. But the oldest one is 6 now, and they're very, very bright, and so they may notice. But I changed my voice. I whitened my beard a little bit,
That's cool.
and I have my full regalia.
All right, can you do the voice for me? I'm putting you on the spot.
Absolutely,
Okay,
I can.
All right, he's gonna do it.
I am so happy to see you all today. What a blessing you are to my life that you've come, and I get to visit you every Christmas. Even if you are a little bad, I will come and I will share with you.
That's awesome.
Is that good?
That's very good.
Okay.
All right, so Joel's Father
Did I
Christmas.
get the gig?
You got the gig. Yeah. All right. And then again, before we jump into our topics, because we're going to talk about our favorite Christmas movies, right?
Mhm.
And they're clearly works of art. But I had to tell you what I did last night.
What was that?
Last night I went to Hollywood and saw the immersive Van Gogh display.
Shut up.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
So for those of you that aren't familiar with the immersive art display movement, yeah, there it is there. So have you seen this before?
I've seen this. In fact, we're going in January.
Are you really? Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad
We're
you got
going in
tickets.
January.
I can't wait. We'll
visit.
We'll revisit this
Okay, yeah.
conversation. And I loved it. It's as if Van Gogh's painting the pieces there because they're
Oh,
not.
my
It's not
goodness.
static. They're moving.
Yeah.
So they've put motion into the graphics.
Oh, wow.
It's really cool. And they added soundtracks to it. So there's music by Tom Yorn, who's the singer for Radiohead, and there's some classical music. Edie Piaf. I got censored last night.
What?
We need to talk about censorship soon.
Okay.
But I got censored because I played Edie Piaf. Or I posted a video of us sitting watching the Van Gogh as they're playing Edie Piaf.
Mm-hmm.
And I posted that, and they took it down because of the music. And I don't know, but I don't know.
You posted it on
Instagram,
Instagram,
and Facebook, and they took it down because of Edie Piaf. I mean, she's dead. She's over. I mean, the song's over 100 years old. I don't know what the deal is, but anyway,
wow.
I don't know if Edie Piaf is. I don't know if that song is that old. When did it come out? 1930.
Yeah.
So not quite 100 years old.
Oh wow.
But I got censored for that, and I'm not making any money off of it. So
no.
And that song is kind of a freedom song. So anyway, but I loved it. Very moving, very dramatic, sensory overload. So
Okay.
like it just kind of like overwhelms your senses.
Yeah.
With the artwork and with the music, and so, but it really does beg the question, because you and I have seen some of these pieces in real life. We've seen the oil on canvas and the texture. You can see the depth of it, and the impasto. You can, I don't know if you can smell the paint, but you could at least pretend like you smell the paint. And this is digital art.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I loved it. But at the same time, like, I kind of want to see the real thing.
Well, I hope what it does is that this encourages people to go see the real thing, and so all it's doing is just creating more
interest in
more fans
Yeah.
of Van
For
Gogh.
sure. sure.
And so I'm all for it. Whatever happens to push art,
Yeah.
that's great. As I saw To Kill a Mockingbird, and then I read the book, and it encouraged me to read the book.
Got
And
it.
so anything about anything that sends you to
the original source,
to the original
primary
source is I'm all for it.
Wow. Well, it was cool. It was
Yeah.
an experience. Okay, so when you and your wife are going to
Well, yeah, and we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it. For sure.
But speaking to that subject, I was listening to a podcast with Rob Lowe. Literally,
I like that podcast.
Oh, I like it.
He's
and
great.
he had Lindsey Buckingham on
Okay.
yesterday,
Uh-huh.
Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
And Lowe asked the question. Rob asked the question. It says, "Now, your music has made it to TikTok." And I guess it's a guitar riff. I can't remember. Has made it to TikTok, and all it is a guy on a skateboard drinking orange juice to the licks by Lindsey Buckingham. And he asked, "How do you feel about that?" And Buckingham said, "All it does is exposes another generation to our music."
Yeah.
And I think this is the same thing.
Idea.
Yeah, it's a good podcast.
It's a great podcast.
Yeah, it really is.
Does he get any royalties from his jingles being played, or is it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here's a fun fact, since you brought up Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
I was one of the dealers for their photographer. So I sold them a ton of Gothic furniture and architectural pieces. And this is the photographer that shot all of Fleetwood Mac and what's the gal's name?
Stevie Nicks?
Stevie Nicks' album covers.
Okay. So your products, your inventory is...
Yeah. One of them was a Gothic desk, and then I sold them a confessional, a Gothic confessional.
Which album is it on?
Oh, it's not in the albums.
Okay.
It was just I just sold to the to the photographer that shot them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Might have been into witchcraft. I don't know. Oh, I gotta tell you this. I did a wedding last week. And because before we turned the cameras on, we were talking about doing some outside gigs and weddings, and if you ever do a funeral outside your church, do you charge? So we were kind of having some pastor conversation. So I did a wedding for somebody outside of our church, and they were very cryptic, very nerdy, nerdy couple. Beautiful wedding, beautiful location. It's probably some of the best flower arrangements in a wedding I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Very sweet couple. And so we kind of went through their vows, and I gave them a script that is kind of a traditional wedding script. It did their vows, and then they did the unity candle. So I turned around and doing the unity candle, and I'm looking at it, and like there's a full-blown pentagram in the candle with all kinds of spells carved into the candle. I'm like, oh my gosh, did I just do a witch wedding? What did I get myself into? Anyway, that was
the vetting process kind of failed you.
It did. Anyway, they were sweet. Okay, let's get into movies.
Absolutely.
Christmas movies.
Absolutely.
Why don't you go first?
Well, the thing for me is, first of all, there's very, very, very few Christmas movies that I do not watch. Very few.
You're into Christmas movies.
I'm into Christmas movies. I'll watch all the cheesy movies on Netflix. I'll watch the Christmas Prince 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll watch them all. I love them. But the movies the movies and the stories that have come on screen and the ones that I picked these are the ones that make me cry.
Yeah.
These are the ones that touch my life in a big way. And so the first set, I have two, and they're not movies, but they're cartoons, and they came out in my youth in the 60s. And they are
Rudolph.
A Charlie Brown Christmas.
That's a faith movie.
Huh?
That's a faith-based movie.
Absolutely. The reason why I picked this one is because as a kid, I loved Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
But I was watching this TV show, and on network television, and the history behind this is it almost didn't make it on the air.
Really?
Because it was in the middle of production. They contracted it to CBS, contracted with Schultz to do this, and basically, in order to get Schultz to do it, he had to have complete creative control.
Good for him.
And it's whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
So the producers saw the first, when it's in the first aspects of it, and they didn't know what to do, because the animation was kind of blocky and not sophisticated.
Yeah.
It really didn't have a score to speak of. Basically, it had a jazz guy. They've never had that kind of thing with the cartoon.
Right.
And plus, Charles Schultz was a devout Christian.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't bend to their will.
That's awesome.
And if they took it off, he'd sue.
So he stuck to his guns.
He stuck to his guns
as an artist.
As an artist, and this is the way it is.
And as a person of faith.
And as a person of faith. And so I'm watching this show as a kid, and all of a sudden, and I'm, okay. And all of a sudden, Linus says, "You want to know what Christmas is all about?"
Yes.
I'll tell you what Christmas is all about. Lights, please.
Yeah.
And behold,
right.
There was in that country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. Never heard that on TV before, on network television. Never heard it.
Wow.
And it was on prime time. And the gospel was coming right out of those cartoon characters' mouth.
Wow.
And behold.
Okay, I think you just got the best pick, because that one's pretty dang good.
And that's awesome. And so because of that, and a lot of things, and Peanuts is iconic.
Yeah.
Just pure iconic.
Right.
And so it's that. But the other cartoon that goes with it is this one.
The Grinch. That's a good one too.
Because the reason why I like the cartoon and not the movie, mostly because first of all,
terrible. That's why.
What's that?
The movie's terrible.
Okay, yeah.
That's why you don't like the movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Creepy and terrible.
Yeah, but this is the thing I loved about this. First of all, it's done by probably one of the greatest animators of all time, Chuck Jones.
Oh, so Chuck Jones is
the Bugs Bunny and Warner Brothers,
yeah,
and so he did that, and so they always had a warm spot in my heart for it. And do you know who was the narrator and subsequent voice of the Grinch?
No.
Boris Karloff.
Oh, really?
Yes. And
interesting.
And I will always hear and remember when he gets towards the end and he's about ready to dump the bags. Just these words. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. And I hear that even now, and tears come to my eyes, because when Jesus came, the world was going to hell in a handbasket.
Right.
And it just seemed that there was the tyranny of Rome, there was all of this. And, off in some backwater country in a field, all of a sudden, here comes Jesus. And nobody can stop him from coming. He slipped in the back door.
And it was unstoppable, right? It was going to happen.
It was going to happen.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Yeah.
You would think that you'd want a big old shindig and big old thing to announce. No.
I preached on that idea that that whenever God does a breakthrough in the scriptures, like nativity, the breakthrough is not necessarily how we would see a breakthrough, like the alleviation of pain or the solution to a problem. God's breakthrough is literally the birth of something new.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't stop at birth.
Mm-mm.
Not I mean,
Mm-mm.
if you're pro-life, you can't stop a birth. It's
No.
you can't change your mind. That
No.
baby's coming.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
that's fun. Okay, so what else about the Grinch and Dr. Seuss is faith-based?
well, first,
Because Seuss was a Christian too, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
yeah. He was a great
Presbyterian,
moralist,
right?
huh?
Was he Presbyterian?
I don't know that.
Okay.
I just know that he was a great moralist, and
Yeah.
he was. I think he was. Well, a lot of his stories and books have justice themes.
Yeah.
You
Must
know.
have been a Presbyterian.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We'll give him that. And he is, the Sneetches, the story of
Yeah.
the Sneetches. Well, Yertle the Turtle, all of them are
environmentally based. Too.
environmentally
Yeah.
based. The Lorax.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he certainly responded from a moral center,
Yeah.
and did his artwork based on faith.
All right. I'm getting all judgy now. We don't really have artists like this these days that are producing cartoons from Schultz's perspective or Seuss's perspective.
I'm not aware of any.
I'm not aware of any either.
And if somebody's out there who can introduce us to some, and you're talking about cartoons or animation that is commercially oriented.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time is not necessarily Christian, but they are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's really good picks.
Well, thank you.
What else about the Grinch that's still Christmas?
It's redemptive.
It's redemptive. Yeah.
I'm attracted to redemptive stories, big time.
Yeah.
And he is a personality that, and it's the Who's. That's the Who's of the church.
Yeah.
And the Grinch is that which comes against the church and gets against the message of the church.
But he's the one that's redeemed.
He's what?
He's the one that's redeemed.
He's the one that's redeemed. Yeah. And he's redeemed by what? By the church. By the Who's. Come out of their house. It's Christmas Day. We're going to sing. We're going to worship. We're going to worship. You can't stop us.
That's cool.
Like Paul in prison.
Yeah.
Paul and Silas in prison. I'm locked up. My ministry. You thought you silenced me, and I'm in here. What am I doing? I'm singing.
Yeah.
I'm praising God.
Yeah.
That's
that's where we need to be too.
Yes.
As a culture.
Yes.
As
a church culture,
as a church
anyway.
Culture. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I have a confession.
What?
That was for our Christmas special last year. I was the Grinch.
So?
Well, it might be blasphemous because I was a Grinch and I got into a lightsaber battle with Santa Claus.
That's awesome.
You have to see it. I mean, it's pretty funny. But
okay.
We didn't get to do Nativity last year because of COVID.
Yeah.
So we did this drive-in Christmas sing-along musical, and I don't know how it happened, but they talked me into putting a Grinch outfit on and fighting Santa Claus with a lightsaber. I don't even know what the purpose of it was.
Did the people find it a blessing?
Oh, it was funny. It was so good.
Don't worry about it.
All right.
My deal. No,
okay.
Yeah, you're absolved.
All right. I gotta realize I'm talking to Father Christmas here.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right. Let me do my first one.
Sure.
I did it. I'm going chronologically, but it's a wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay. Did you pick this one?
No,
all
but
right.
Thank you. You know why?
Why?
Because I didn't pick this one.
And you wanted to?
No, well, kind of, yeah, but for my wife. Because this is if I go. So did you do Wonderful Life? No.
Well, you could say.
Then I'd be in trouble.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Well, there it is. You could say that Pastor Josh did It's a Wonderful
Yeah.
Life. All right. So I like Christmas movies too. I don't know if I like them as much as you do, but we always go back to our childhood. I remember this one and then my next movie that I picked just kind of resonating with, okay, this is what Christmas is about.
Yes.
And Jimmy Stewart's character is somebody that I think everybody can relate to.
Absolutely.
And, you know, the brokenness of a man and the huge failure that he has to deal with, and that sense of loss, and seeing a man break down in front of his kids. That's heavy. And I mean, again, as a kid, when I saw Stewart, you know, realizing that all the money was gone and he's with his daughter, like that, I'm never going to forget that. That is so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there's the redemption, there's the breakthrough, there's the community connection there that everybody wants. You know, it's just
there's the grace.
There's the grace. There's the miracle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then also, I think that the angel Clarence, like, I don't think that we realize as an American culture the impact of that angelic character has played, because everybody can relate to the angelic, and in American culture, and I think it's because of that moment, because that guardian angel.
Yes.
And
well, you look about the kind of angel I'd have.
yeah, exactly. It's just beautiful.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful movie.
It's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
There's some insight. First of all, I saw this. I saw this as a young adult.
Did you?
Yeah. But my dear friend Rob, he was I was coming home from college, and he asked my mom if he could pick me up from the airport.
Yeah.
And so he said, we're going to go to the movies. And I said, okay. And we went to the South Pasadena Rialto Theater.
Yeah.
And they were showing It's a Wonderful Life.
Wow.
And he says it's an old black and white movie. And so I saw it in the movie theater, and it was phenomenal. What an experience. Yeah. And just being with Robin in that old theater, seeing that was great. It was great. There's a story that this was his first movie after World War II,
really?
After he came home. And he was a pilot in the Air Force, flew B-24 bombers.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. He's badass. He's really cool. And he flew B-24s. And he never talked about it, but the war affected him.
Wow.
So when we see him at the end of his life, at the end where he doesn't, and that emotion,
he taps.
That's real. He's tapping into.
Jeez, that's why it's so good.
That's why it's so good.
He's having a nervous breakdown on the camera.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the fact that he was a squadron leader for a fleet of B-24s. Hello.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is pretty cool. All right, my second one chronologically is Christmas Carol. Do you like that one too? Did you pick this one?
It's on my list.
It is. Okay, so we can talk about
Let's talk about it.
All right. So I saw this again, always going back to my childhood, right? Always like working out our psychology here. But a big movie for me as a kid. Again, this is what made Christmas real instead of this is what killed Santa for me. And then again, the introduction to his father Christmas is a big deal. Love George C. Scott for one. But this movie actually also was influential in my family. So not only me as a kid, but as a family and as a church.
Yes.
So based off of this film, our church did a play called Scrooged that we ran for years.
Wow.
So Christmas Carol's been a big part of our ministry for a long time.
Wow.
Yeah. And
this is crazy because this is why you and I are friends and brothers.
Right.
Because I love A Christmas Carol. I've seen them all.
Yeah.
And I pretty much like them all.
Yeah. This one?
I like Bill Murray. I like this one. But towards the end, you'll see one that I was gravitated to, but I had this one. So don't show this one when it's last, when it's me. Don't show this one. Show the other one. He blew me away, and I was in my mid-20s, and I was married, and I had my first 2 kids. This is the first time I saw Scrooge be real, not a caricature.
Right.
He was real.
Yeah.
And only he could have done that.
He could have done it.
Very little makeup.
Yeah, very convincing.
Very convincing.
Now the film is, like, artistically, it's a work of art. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so just the way that it's shot. I don't even know who directed it, but
and it was only on television. It was a television movie.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
No, it was a television movie.
Made for TV?
Huh?
Made for TV.
Made for TV.
Oh,
you can
my
see the
gosh.
commercial breaks. I mean, you can see where they break it.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always just watched it on TV.
Yeah.
But I remember, again, the impact that it made visually, especially the Father Christmas part where he opens up his robes. I mean, that freaked me out. I mean, in a good way.
Yeah.
And it almost like had so shocking and almost had like this horror film vibe. I mean, not in a slasher way, but just like the shocking imagery of it. And yeah.
And how they shot the future, Christmas Future.
Yeah. So powerful.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was because of this, but the reason why I brought up the brother one is I've been so inspired by Christmas Carol that I wrote my own play
You
of a
did.
Christmas. I did. It wasn't a musical, but what I called it a Christmas Carol, and I wanted to, because the story skirts around, conversion and skirts around that. I wanted him to have. I wanted him to realize that he needs to give his life to Jesus.
Yeah.
And he, so I tried to be as true to the language as I could. I had the book and the story right there. I wanted to get everything right.
Yeah.
And that I wanted to sound like Dickens. But when he is at the grave, when he's at the grave, he hears a caroler in the background, and when we've done it as a play, it's a play. When it's done as a play, I have when my wife does it, she sings the Wexford Carol.
Okay.
Just hauntingly.
When was the last time you did the play?
Long time ago.
Okay. Yeah.
Long time ago. It's still out, and I'd play Scrooge, and have if I could work. If I could work my will, everyone who goes about saying "Merry Christmas" with "God save you" on his lips would be more, all of that, and tried to keep the language. But he reads on a gravestone next to him. Somebody had inscribed 2 Corinthians 5:17. That if anyone is in Christ, they are a new creation.
Okay.
The old has passed away; behold, the new has come. And so he says, the character says, "I would be this new creation. I don't want to live this life anymore. I would be, oh Christ Jesus, help me." And he wakes up in his room. But I don't say ghost, the Christmas spirit. I just say I'm Christmas past.
Okay.
I'm Christmas
Why don't you
present.
say ghost?
Because I don't want somebody to just sit there and
be critical
the rest of the time, miss the message, because all they're doing is,
He said ghost. He said ghost. We're Christians. We don't believe in ghosts.
So I just don't. I didn't want to fight that.
Lord save us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I just don't. I didn't want
I
to fight
got you.
it. It just
I
like
know.
okay, wasn't that important to me. So
You should do that play again.
what play?
Your
I know.
Christmas Carol play.
I would love to do. I've done it. I've recited it.
Yeah.
In about a 20-minute in a one-man show. I've done it in a one-man show, and have done that way. But full-on play.
I didn't know you were a thespian.
Oh yeah,
Really?
Oh,
What?
yeah.
That's so
Oh,
cool.
dude. When no, I was in community theater and produced and directed community theater and acted in community
Jeez.
for like 15 years.
Do you know Nathan Niebuhr?
I don't know.
Humanity Church. He's a
No.
thespian. Southern Baptist.
No, I've done Godspell.
Have you really?
Yeah, about 10 times. Played Jesus up until my 40s, and then I was done because I was getting a little long in the tooth.
Right.
And directed Godspell, produced it, and stuff.
Oh, that's so cool.
Funny thing happened on the way to Forum. That was fun. So anyway, yeah, thespian.
You're a Monty Python fan too.
Yes. Where'd you get the coconuts?
All right.
Of course.
Man, just when you thought we know each other, right?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay.
Anything else about Christmas Carol?
I'll catch it up later on.
Okay. All right. Why don't you go to your next one?
Yeah. Okay. My next one, and this is everyone's favorite, White Christmas. And,
I didn't pick White Christmas.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
There's no.
Yeah, I know.
You didn't pick White Christmas? No, I this is one that has always been, and it will probably be the first one or two movies that I will that I'll watch again this year. It's everything's singable.
Yeah.
When I'm worried and I can't sleep, I count my blessings instead of sheep. That just all of those, but it's the part that makes it spiritual. When I'm so touched by it, when they start preparing for the shows and they do all the dancing and all of that stuff, I go get a sandwich. I go do something else, while this is on. But I watch it to the beginning. I watch it to when they get to the lodge in Vermont, and then I let them do their thing. When Bing Crosby starts to have a falling out with Rosemary Clooney, I check out, but it's wonderful to watch. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Love Danny Kaye.
Yeah.
And
that's George Clooney's mom too, right?
Aunt.
Aunt, that's right.
Yeah. It's his aunt. Nick Clooney and her are she used to be married to Ferrer. So
this one you could easily say is an iconic American
movie.
Yeah.
A Christmas movie with written by a Jew, music written by a Jewish man.
That's right.
But here's the part that gets me. I love the opening song, or when they to the general. We'll follow the old man wherever he wants to go, opposite to the fro. At the beginning of the movie. And then they have the idea that I want to go. Hey, let's put on a show to help this guy.
Yeah.
And so he goes on to, and this is the part that gets me. He goes on the television show, and he says, to all his comrades out there, he says, this is your chance to do something for one of the nicest guys around. And they put on this big, huge show for this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when's the last time I did something extravagant just to be nice to a nice guy?
I think that's so important for us to think.
What's that?
I think it's important for us to think that way.
I do.
Yeah.
I really do. Because there's a biblical precedent for it.
Sure.
Here's the biblical precedent, especially at Christmas time.
Yeah.
The show that the shepherds saw,
right,
was far greater than any of the show these two guys put on. And it's just for a handful of people. Just out of a sense of love.
Yeah.
And why did he pick the shepherds?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not? and also unconditional.
Absolutely.
And that's the rub. Because usually when we're doing nice things for nice people, we do it with conditions.
Yeah.
At least to be recognized.
Absolutely. And he made the point of saying no one's getting anything out of this.
All right. So if you're watching, we want to, Pastor Josh and Pastor Joel, we want to encourage you to do something nice for somebody, maybe even anonymously, without getting any recognition
Even the better.
at all.
Yeah.
And that's if you think about it, that's the heart of Christ, is
non-transactional.
But we are, like, even in our generosity, we have this transactional mindset.
Yeah. And that's,
even in our faith, we have a transactional mindset.
You know what? And that's true. And here's the thing: it's transactional because we want to make sure that people are. I mean, we want to put people in heaven.
Yeah.
But what do you got to do? And I was talking in the memorial service today. I was saying this man, had an encounter with Christ.
Yeah.
Heaven is not his reward. Heaven is where Jesus wanted him because he was there. Jesus wants us. Jesus wants us in heaven with him. That where I am, you may be also.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
This pastor's a little controversial these days, but he preached a message when I was in college in chapel that just cemented that for me. So Tony Campolo.
Okay.
So Tony did this message where he's at some divey restaurant or whatever. And do you know this story?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
He was a professor of mine.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he came and spoke at Westmont.
Yeah, and I at Judson College. Yeah, he made the circuit because he spoke. My dad had him speak at a college career conference with the ABC. He's ABC. He's an American Baptist, by the way. Yeah.
Well, anyway,
we got Tony.
His story goes that he's at some divey restaurant or whatever, and
it's a great story.
He's in connection with a prostitute. Finds out that it's her birthday, and then goes and buys all the stuff and throws a birthday party for a prostitute.
The next day.
Yeah. And it's beautiful because, again, there's no strings attached. There was no, let me give you the gospel message now. It's just doing something nice for another human being.
Yeah.
Giving somebody that doesn't normally get a birthday cake a birthday cake.
And she wouldn't let anybody have any.
Yeah.
Because she never had something like that.
She never had something like that before. And that's a powerful story. And that's how we need, specifically in this season.
Yeah.
This is how we need to be. I think some people are getting it because I see it in action behind the scenes in ministry. Like they are being generous and they are blessing without wanting to be recognized. So that's very encouraging. I'm not quite sure I know where that's coming from, but that's neat to see. Yeah. Let's do something nice for somebody.
Absolutely. And my deal is, and I would even say, just be in prayer about it right now, and just posture ourselves before the Lord and say, what do you want to do? I mean, I want to be a blessing, and how can I be a blessing? I'm kind of broke. I'm kind of but how can I? And just let God. God has a great imagination. He'll say, you do this.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Yeah, I'd love to see it. That'd be neat.
Yeah.
And I hope if you listen to this that you communicate with, and if you have something to share, and I'm going to use very churchy word, if you have a testimony to share, let one of us know.
Sure. There's power in the testimony.
There's power in the testimony.
And if it could, if it needs to be an anonymous thing, we'll share it here.
Absolutely.
That would be great.
Absolutely.
Because there's power in the testimony. The testimony needs to be heard and spoken. but at the same time, like some things need to be kept private
Mm-hmm.
and kept secret,
Mm-hmm.
either for the respect of the individual that's receiving aid or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But still, somebody can be encouraged.
I
By a
would
great
love
story.
to. We
Yeah.
would love to hear.
Love to hear.
And know.
Let's.
T. Joel Fairley, tjoelfairley65@gmail.com.
There you go.
So
Let's hear your testimonies. All right. I've got one more. Do you have another one?
oh, I have several.
You have several. This is your Christmas. Why don't you do another
this is
one?
my
then?
thing.
I
Go,
only
you
got
go.
3.
Have you done your third one?
No.
Do it.
All right. My third one is not. I'm gonna feel like I'm not a good Christian right now. But
Okay.
Christmas Vacation.
I knew you were going to do it.
You did.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, not necessarily. You can't say that it's a faith film.
No.
There's no God moment per se in this, but it's hilarious, and I can relate to it, and I have family members that I can relate to
Okay.
off of this movie. So this is a great movie. Anyway, but it obviously revolves around Clark Griswold and his desire to connect to Christmas. So, he wants to curate and fashion the perfect Christmas experience for his family, and then everything goes wrong, and he's got his own moral failings. But he's got this drive to be the perfect dad, right? The perfect husband, the model leader that everybody wants to look up to, and then it just doesn't go the way that he wants.
Goes
it to
down
go.
the toilet
Goes
quick.
down the toilet. Goes in the I won't say the S word, but the crapper is full, right? That's a literal quote from the movie.
It's beloved.
It's beloved
by many.
Yeah.
Who was I? Oh, I was talking to this morning. I was talking to our group, and one of our pastors said, I asked the question. I told them that about what we're going to do today, and I asked them each who were there, and said, "It isn't Christmas until you watch what?" Asked them that question.
And this movie popped up.
This movie popped up with one of our pastors. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I had to confess that I hadn't seen it all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces of it. Honestly, it makes me nervous. I'm anxious.
Oh, really?
For them.
Oh, for the family and
I'm anxious. For everybody.
Gotcha.
And so I okay, this is good, but something's gonna happen. So it's not a comfortable movie for me to watch.
All right, so there's some psychology I want to dig into.
Okay.
So in the character of the father of the man
of Clark,
but you can also think about Jimmy Stewart in his role. Even George C. Scott, Christmas Carol. Ralphie, Christmas Story.
Yeah.
So Mr. Christmas Man here, you obsessed with Christmas movies. Why is it always about the guy's narrative, or the guy he's the main figure in the story? It's Charlie Brown's Christmas.
I'm gratified that it was just last year or a few years back, a Christmas movie came out on Disney called Noel, which with the girl from Pitch Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I forget.
Anna. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't get through that.
She's the daughter of Santa.
Right.
And
so that one, we're making that transition then.
Yeah, we're making that transition, and it's it's cheesy, but it's I cry.
Yeah,
I cry at the end, and she comes into her own, and her brother is supposed to take over. He's not sure he wants to be Santa Claus,
right?
And she loves Christmas. And it's like, well, why can't I be Santa?
Yeah.
And so it's just, yeah, it really is good. So we're coming into our own. There's another one that Disney put out, and it was a little one. It came and went when I first saw it in the theater. Mary Steenburgen
Okay.
was in it, and I think it's called A Certain Christmas or something like that. And she's a working mom trying to make a living, and she has a Scroogey attitude about Christmas, and her husband has this over the top joy, and she just is like,
Yeah.
you don't even get it. And so she has an encounter with St. Nicholas.
Got it.
And I thought it was very well done. And it is kind of there are some dark moments in it.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes around in the end. And yeah.
Cool.
So,
well, this is probably the beginnings of the dysfunctional American family Christmas vacation, or at least looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
At
yeah.
how screwed up things.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
First of all, I think it's real in the sense that no matter what plans you make, no matter what you want to do for Christmas, how perfect you want it to be, something's going to screw up.
Yeah.
And it's not going to meet your expectations. Well, I wanted to do this, and I wanted to do that, and we were going to have this. And
we do this every year.
We do this every year,
Yeah.
and it blows up in our faces. Not to that extent,
Right?
but it goes wrong.
Yeah.
And something's going to go wrong.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there or are you going to find the redemption part of it? Are you going to sit there and be upset and depressed that Christmas didn't go the way you want? Or are you going to step out of your house, grab each other's hand, and start singing Christmas carols?
Yeah.
And start singing because Christmas is here.
Yeah.
It's all of that. And so I think it's just us, dialed up to an 11.
Right. So there's not a whole lot of faith in this movie.
No.
There is one moment where he's stuck in the attic and he's watching old Christmas videos from his past childhood. And for me, that's like that longing for connection, even spiritual connection.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably what we tend to do when we get into the Christmas spirit, right? I do think it's a spiritual connection.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Say that again?
That us wanting to connect to the Christmas spirit, whether we're decorating with trees and wreaths, so there's a spiritual push.
It is.
Our spirit wants to connect spiritually, and so we do it through tinsel.
Christmas, the Christmas season, the holidays, is that one time we get the whole world's attention.
That's right.
They're paying attention.
Right.
We have them. Why is there Christmas?
Right.
Jesus is coming. Why is there Santa Claus? Because he represents giving.
Right.
And goodness. And innocence. And wonder. Joy. All of that.
Cool.
Hello.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah. All right, you have more then.
I do have more.
All right, to redeem my Christmas vacation.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not going to end on this.
Okay, good.
Okay, here we go. The Santa Claus.
Really?
With Tim Allen.
It's very sentimental.
It's because, first of all, right now, if God were to say to me, God were to come down and grant your wish, and say, I'm going to grant your wish, what do you want? I'd say, I want to be Santa Claus.
That's your wish?
Yes. I want to be Santa Claus.
Got it.
I want it all. I want the reindeer. I want the sleigh. I want the cool workshop.
Right.
I want to be able to go around the world. I want to get letters from kids and make their wishes. I want to connect. That kind of magical, wonderful, beautiful connection. So
So the transformation.
When this movie, exactly. So when
Yeah.
this movie comes out, and a regular guy gets to be Santa Claus, come on.
I was pleasantly surprised when I watched this.
Yes.
Because I didn't watch it when it came out. I'm like, I'm not
Because
going to watch this dumb movie. So I didn't watch it. And then I have a kid, right? And so, when you have
you watch it.
Then you watch it.
Okay.
And I was surprised how good it was.
It is deeper than people face. First of all, his character is a selfish, self-centered narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it comes about to put on the suit and then you become, the reason why he puts it on the suit, the reason why he puts on the coat, because of his son. And his son says, you never do anything you want. So the beginning of his transformation comes when he does something selfless for his son, something he doesn't want to do. And what does that do?
Right.
It begins his transformation.
And he puts on the suit.
He puts
on the mantle.
He puts on the cloak. Accepts the responsibility.
Yeah.
He didn't know what it entails, but this is a movie about a love that transforms an individual.
And that imagery is all over Scripture, right? So the righteousness of God, the goodness of God,
the
grace of God, the gracelets.
Yeah.
These are something. In order to transform the way that the Scriptures write it, you literally have to put it on.
You have to put.
You don't
put on your
it.
Garments of praise.
Yeah, exactly.
Put on Christ.
Yeah, it's
and
great.
And so he transforms and is transformed, and he has a hard time with it.
Yeah,
I can't accept it, and
But the other powerful part about the movie is that in the transformation process, his marriage is reconciled, right?
His relationships. Because he's divorced.
But doesn't he get married or
that's
number 2?
That's number 2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's the Mrs. Claus.
Okay. That's the Mrs. Claus. That's right. Got it.
That's a good one too. That's an awesome one. That is delightful to me. But this is he does an amazing job.
He's a great actor.
He's a good actor.
All right. So what's artistic about this movie for you?
Well, the North Pole.
The workshop.
The workshop is fantastic. The sets are gorgeous. His costume is really cool. I love the reindeer. The reindeer are done very well. Everything is and it's set in Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago's a cool city, and the suburbs are really cool too. And so and it's well, as you can tell, it just means a lot to me. And I love all this. I love Santa Claus movies.
Okay, so you made your own.
I made my own.
Your own Santa outfit.
Yeah.
Or Father Christmas outfit.
Well, you want to know why that came about? So when I first got into Claremont first, I just had my beardless face.
Right.
And a lady in the church in the office said, "So this is when we're having our Christmas party. Can you grow a beard?"
Nice.
I say, "Why?" Because you got to be Santa Claus. Didn't say would you like to be. Said you got to be Santa Claus. Okay.
Was that Mrs. Hodges?
No, it's Phyllis Rogers.
Okay.
Wonderful. So you got to be Santa Claus. I said okay, but I decided that I thought it was really great, but I'm not going to, and we'll buy you a Santa Claus outfit. No, I'll make it.
Do you just have the one?
Huh?
Do you just have the one outfit?
I have that one.
Do you have a green one?
Huh?
Do you have a green outfit?
No.
Wow.
I don't have a gray.
You just have the red.
It's red.
All right. So I have a picture in my mind of you in a green Santa outfit.
In a green one.
In a green one. I don't know where that came from, but anyway.
Well, I want to make one.
Okay. Well, I'm just putting it out there.
Okay.
In my imagination, I've seen you in a green Santa outfit.
Okay. It could be.
Okay.
And because I really would like
A green one.
a green one,
Okay.
because I think it's neat. You
Right.
know, I love classic Father Christmases
Got it.
and how they look and all of that. So I went to the fabric store in Monte Vista and Arrow
Mm-hmm.
down there and picked out some great rich fabric. My sewing machine. People at home going.
I know, right?
So anyway, and I just did it by hand.
Got it.
Everything by hand, and I got the coat done, and Sue says, "Well, it needs a lining."
So you did that next.
So we went
So you
out
go
and
back
picked
in.
out some lining, and you have to, when you put a lining in a coat, you got to make another coat. So
you're in it.
So I'm in
Yeah,
it for real,
you're in
and
deep.
and
Yeah.
it's fun. I put the coat on.
Mm. Yeah.
I'm a witness to that. When you put the coat on,
You become
it changes you.
you become the character.
You become that.
Yeah.
When when the scripture says, "Put on Christ," that's what should happen.
Yeah.
Don't fake Christ.
Yeah.
You put on Christ. You become the real deal. Not that you become Christ, but because I'm not Father Christmas, but I am the character of Father Christmas. We put on Christ to become the character of Christ. And
that's I gotta preach that again. That's so good because we get confused, and then we fall into moralistic Christianity, right? And that's an epic failure.
Yeah, it is. And we put on Jesus.
Yeah. Cool.
Put on the coat, Tim.
All right.
Put it on.
Love it. All right, and your last one?
And this last one is also was an experience that I had with my friend Rob. This is one of his favorite movies of all time, Mr. Scrooge. I got the Spanish one.
You got the Spanish version. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias,
Mr. Scrooge.
This is but
Albert
anyway,
Finney, though.
Albert Finney.
What year was? Do you know the year of this?
1970.
Okay, so you have a young Albert Finney.
Yeah, he disappeared into this role.
Yeah.
You don't even know. But his was a caricature as opposed to George C. Scott. This really got me so excited about A Christmas Carol, and his redemption was so good, and great music, thank you very much.
Is it a musical?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me.
Right.
And it has all of this wonderful talk about sets and talk about costumes and thing, and the story is, and I think what it gets to me is he puts on a Father Christmas outfit from the store, and so he, at the end of his life and his transformation, he comes home back to his thing, and at one point the door knocker turned into Marley. And the last line is, and it's so wonderful. He says, "Thank you, Jacob. Now I have to get ready to go have dinner with my family." And the heart that it was changed.
Yeah.
We can change behavior. We can change our choices. Only God can change our heart.
For real.
Only He can, and only He can.
Yeah.
And in the story, Christmas, whatever, goes to a great extent to change Scrooge's heart.
Yeah.
Sending these three visitors, these three spirits, to him to change his heart. That was his intent. Not for him to fall in love with Christmas.
Right.
But to change his heart.
Yeah.
The story of Christmas, the true meaning of Christmas is the fact that God went to a great extent
to change our hearts.
To change hearts.
Yeah.
To change the hearts of humanity. That's Christmas to me.
Yeah.
And it's nothing will ever change that.
Hmm.
And so I really didn't think that this was going to be so meaningful to me, this particular episode. But
Well, we're gonna do another one.
yeah, we are.
All right. So our next one is gonna be another Christmas special.
Another Christmas special.
Will you put your outfit on?
Yes, I will.
Okay, awesome.
Yes, I will.
Maybe I'll put my
No.
my Grinch outfit on. I was like, no.
And bring
please
some
don't.
sabers.
Yeah.
And we'll go at it.
Well, I think that this Christmas season will be a very special Christmas season for the church and the body of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of saw it last year that, well, let's just put things into perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we saw and probably what we're going to continue to witness is that the pandemic is stripping away some materialism
Mm-hmm.
and putting priority back into what God wants to put priority into, which is
Absolutely.
family and community and connection.
Absolutely.
And like we're seeing that, when we did the Village Venture in Claremont, and then we did our fall festival, Fall into Fun Halloween party, the community connection felt different. It's like they wanted to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't about being entertained. It wasn't about, networking or whatever. They just wanted to be in community. And so I think it's a very exciting time to be in, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I know that a lot of churches are struggling right now and trying to put the pieces back together and trying to figure out who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Granite Creek included. But if we can just get at the table and do community well, the other stuff is just going to come along.
Yeah.
It's just everything's going to fall back into its place.
Yeah. Yes.
I know there's a lot of people out there that don't have community and they're alone.
And maybe that's the unseen act.
Yeah.
And
loneliness is the worst.
You and I are so fortunate to have the families that we have.
Yeah.
To grow up with a sense of tradition and a sense, a faith model.
Right.
And I remember my dad always made Christmas special for us.
Likewise. Yeah.
Always. Always. I never walked away, like Dudley Dursley from Harry Potter. You were more last year. I was always blown away by the grace and the generosity of my folks.
Yeah.
And especially having my dad as my pastor, many memories I have are connected to Calvary Baptist Church when I was growing up in Pasadena. And it's always the church and the services, Christmas Eve, one of our wonderful singers is always going to sing "O Holy Night" or "Jesu Bambino."
Yeah.
And all of it is, and it is but I feel bad. Not everybody sees Christmas like we do. Not everybody experiences joy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, me too.
Makes me sad.
Yeah. But there's hope.
Yeah.
They can.
They can.
They can.
And I would find a church.
Yep.
And that's the first thing I would say. Well, how do I get the Christmas spirit? Just find a church. Find a church that you feel safe in.
Yeah.
And just pray to the Lord. Ask the Lord, I want to go to church, or I want to find a community, and give it to Him. Put the responsibility on Him, and He'll lead you to the right people.
For sure.
Because not every church is for everybody.
Yeah, and I think that's an important very important distinction to make, because you and I both have witnessed people come into church and either they don't meet the right people at the right time, or it's not a right fit,
Mm-hmm.
or somebody's rude,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're done.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the church's one shot.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
yeah,
Mm.
I would just, and I try to preach this quite often, is that push into community. Take the risk. It's like dating.
Yeah.
You got to put yourself out there again. And I know it hurts. I know people have disappointed you, and I get that. But the right community it's precious.
Absolutely.
All right, Joel, we probably should wrap her up.
We should. This has been fun, Josh.
We're going to do part 2 next week.
Next time, we'll do another part, another Christmas show.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. If you have any prayer requests, let us know.
Please.
We'll
please.
make sure we're ministry minded here. And
yeah.
Why don't you close us out?
I will.
And in the spirit of Christmas.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to, what I'd like to share with you real quick before I pray, and this prayer is prophetic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking God to show up for you this Christmas in a way that that you can't imagine. My prayer is that if there is forgiveness that you are seeking, I pray that you find it. Mm-hmm. My prayer is if there is someone who doesn't find joy because of an addiction, can't find joy because of a broken relationship, I want to say that God is going to heal that, wants to heal it, and wants to set you free. Jesus came that we may have life and we may have it abundantly. So, dear God, thank you for this moment and this hour. Thank you for showing up with Josh and I today. And thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to do this. And I just want to say, I want to thank you, Lord. I want to thank you. In your name, amen. I also want to say thanks to Josh, to Luke
and Joel.
The other
Working
Joel,
hard.
who we couldn't do this without. You couldn't hear us and you couldn't see us if it weren't for Luke and Joel. Yep. So thank you guys.
Thank you guys
so much. And if I could say, in the spirit of Father Christmas,
yes,
Happy Christmas to one and all.
Awesome. Thanks for watching. See you next time.